Welcome into our overtime segment here at SportsSource.tv or our YouTube channel. Either one. We welcome you in. We appreciate you being here. I am John Pennington, joined by Bob Hodge, Vince Ferrara, and Chuck Cavaleris right there. And what we're going to do is talk a little bit about rules changes. But every week, this segment is brought to you by our good friends at Blue Smoke Cigar. Right there, you see their name. You can get a membership package down there that's just fantastic. I've known Mike Hicks, who runs that place, for a long, long time. Good guy, good family. And you go down there and you meet with Mike or his son or any of the other folks who are down there. You get a membership through them. You get your own personal locker. All right. Now you can fill that locker with some of the terrific cigars, which you'll get a 15% discount on when you're a member. You can also fill it with booze, which you'll get 10% off at McScrooge's Wine and Liquor when you get a membership deal. Access to their lounge area, card tables, golf simulators, TVs. Check it out. It's out in West Knoxville, South Peters Road. You'll see the sign, Blue Smoke Cigar. Really nice stuff. And they still have their store down in Alcoa as well, Smokin' Joe's. So check it out, Blue Smoke Cigar. If you're a cigar aficionado, you'll like the place. I guarantee it. All right. Let's take a look at some of these rule changes. We talked about one in the last segment. We didn't get a lot of chance to talk about it, so I'll start with that one here. As we discussed last segment today, the NCAA is trying to me, just go ahead and cut them out and stop doing the 1,000 paper cuts thing. They want to get rid of kickoffs, all right, kickoff returns. Research shows, and most coaches agree, injuries occur on kick returns. So they're trying to get those things out. A few years ago, they said, well, all right, we're going to, instead of the 20, we're going to bring fair catches out to the 25. All right, well, that didn't do enough. And then you just started getting some teams that tried to pin teams directionally deep, and you're still forcing a return. So now they've come up with a new rule that this fall, you can see somebody take a kick at the 10-yard line. Fair catch, comes out to the 25. As long as you fair catch it, it comes to the 20. You can fair catch it on the 24. It's going to the 25. if you really don't want to return it. Just your thoughts on the way it's being implemented. Bob, I know you don't like it, period, because you don't care that they're getting hurt. Screw it. You don't care about this player's safety.
Just run them down there into that grinder.
It's for our entertainment.
I would like to see, okay, an injury. Not all injuries are created equal. Are they talking about concussions? Or are they talking about he got cut with a cleat? I mean, I would like to see this because how many times?
If I have coaches agreeing with it, at some point, I'm going to buy what they're selling. If you see coaches comment on it, it's like, well,
then you fundamentally change the game, I think. And here's what I do: if I'm a coach, okay, I start squib kicking. Can't fair catch a squib kick. If I got a kicker that can knock it down there inside the 10 and rolling it on the ground, then I'm going to roll it on the ground. I'm not going to give it to you up to the 25.
Well, then they'll just come back and say, you can fair catch a squib kick. That's what they'll do. To me, you're all just going to the same direction. Eventually, they're going to ban kicks. They're going to ban kickoff returns. They're just trying to piecemeal it together, which I think is silly. I agree it changes the game, but all right, how many kickoffs do you get in the game? It's not that big of a deal.
Punt return then. The problem with the kick returns, you got guys getting 10 yards or greater momentum before they hit the other guy.
Everybody's running at full speed for 50 yards. Okay, why don't you have the same amount of injuries
in a punt? Everybody says, well, punts aren't, because line of scrimmage, you don't have the same kind of impacts. Do something like that, but keep the kick a part of the game.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Your guys' thoughts?
I don't like it. I would have liked to have seen something tried on like what I still call the 1AA level or a different level of football to see how it worked. What they're talking about too is that you've got so many bigger, faster, stronger athletes running at full speed.
Right.
Whereas it's like 250, 260. I mean, well, then what if you just made it 220 pounds or less on kickoffs?
Put a green strap on her helmet like they do down at Tarleton.
Or try something. I mean, to me, this is fundamentally changing it, and it's the first I heard of it.
It just happened Friday. I guess they announced it Friday. My guess is, though, it's concussion related. The injury, if you looked at the studies, my guess is the studies would be concussion related because that's really look, they didn't care about any injuries for 100 years.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, people start having serious issues with concussions, start seeing lawsuits. Suddenly, concussions is a big deal, and as it should be. That is a big deal.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And if it is concussions, then I would throw in it. Okay, you got to do something because that is such a life-changing thing.
And also, it could be ruinous for the sport.
And real quick, during the show, I said I've talked with the medical people who say the kickoffs are so difficult to see the collision that happens 20 or 30 yards away from the ball that could be the most serious one of the whole game. Because that's what they're having a problem with.
Well, and you also have 11 guys crashing into each other. I mean, you think about it, one play at the line of scrimmage on a third down, this guy gets shaken up and he's wobbly. Okay, we're going to check him. How many guys crash into each other? Okay, we're going to have to check these 5, and over on that sideline, you check those 4.
And then you're still checking the first down play after the kickoff.
Vince, your thought on this thing?
I wish it was still a part of the game like it used to be from an entertainment standpoint. You'd love to still see it. But the fact that coaches don't do it in practices and spring games and don't have players live, that tells you it's not just the NCAA, it's the coaches aware of the dangers of it also.
All right. Other rule changes coming this fall. We're going to throw these out there to see what you guys think. The offense will not be allowed to block below the waist when the block occurs more than 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Period. No blocking below the waist, 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. In addition, all blocks below the waist, aside from interior linemen, must be from the front. So all blocks below the waist must be from the front unless you're an interior lineman. Any response? Any thoughts?
No.
It seems reasonable enough.
Yes.
To me.
I'm for that. And that's where you see injuries for sure.
I mean, and then that kind of like a shot tunnel rule, that's what it brings back to me in the Georgia game that I still think is one of the dirtiest hits I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was.
But still, it was going after
front.
his knees well beyond what, well away from the
And
play.
who was that, an interior lineman?
Yes, it was a center.
Yeah.
Capilano. It wasn't 5 yards down the field, though. It was away from the box.
Right.
But that might not have applied.
Right.
Yeah, it may not. I don't think it would have applied. I think that block would still probably.
But if you can do anything to clean up those type of hits, yes.
All right. The rules committee, man, it's like reefer madness. Play it faster, play it faster. They want to speed up the game, and they speed it up, and they speed it up, and they speed it up, and TV just adds commercials, and it slows it back down. But anyway, they're doing it again. After a touchdown now, the play clock will be set at 40 seconds to expedite the extra point or 2-point attempt. I think this is a big deal. It's, I got touchdown, 40 seconds immediately on the clock. And where I think it's a big deal is you better have your 2-point play ready, because there's not going to be a lot of, okay, let's stand around here on the sideline and figure out what we're going to do. You got 40 seconds. Or you can burn a timeout, obviously. I think that one, end of the game type situation, team needs a 2-point conversion, that could be a pretty big rule change, personally. Now, I like the idea of speeding up the game. I get it. But your thoughts on this? Am I all wet on that? You care?
No, I don't think you're all wet at all, and I think it also determines when does the referee put the ball in play after the touchdown.
How quickly?
Because think about it. How many times do you see the delays? Now you're going to have to tell your guys, hey, Vince, you just scored a potential game-winning touchdown. Can't have 5 guys run out there and congratulate you. You guys got to get over the sideline. It changes a lot of things. I think it's something that a loosely coached team, for lack of a better phrase, is going to screw up.
I wonder if that's one of the secondary reasons they're doing it, is because they don't want to see those elongated celebrations.
Could be, yeah.
It probably is. And do you keep more of your regular offense on the field, even if you're going to kick the extra point? I mean, do you keep, like Bob's saying, especially if it's far into the field, that's going to take a while. So on the road and all that chaos you can have on the sidelines, you better game plan for it. You better have something ready.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to come back late in the game and you're driving, all your focus is on getting that touchdown. You get the touchdown. There's 15 seconds to go in the game. Clock stops. You better have your 2-point play ready.
You better have that chart out. You better.
Which chart are you using? The one with timing on it? All right.
Or you better have some timeouts. Don't waste them on a 5-yard penalty early in the half.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the decision to make the 2-point play. What I'm saying is, you think about it, if you've got a long, sustained drive, you can already be thinking about, if we get in the end zone, what 2-point play are we going to use? Most teams go into a game with 2 or 3, usually 3. You've got them planned out there. But if you're getting down there tight, now you got 40 seconds. I think it does make for a better chance for some coach to get the yips and screw that up. I think that's
And it
going to be
makes
a
for
Well,
better
isn't a perfect example of that 2015 Tennessee at Florida? Jalen Hurd scores on the 10-yard run early in the fourth quarter. The classic, you can go for.
That was the chart. Yeah, that was the one.
Then what do you do on that type of situation? A lot of people said Tennessee staff was caught off guard. They weren't expecting to score a touchdown, and that's one reason they kicked the extra point. What
Butch
do you
Jones,
do?
of course, said that he had the chart that actually showed the timing, and then I thought that was nonsense because I only knew of the one chart. But you go online, and sure enough, there are actually 3 charts.
Yeah.
There's the standard chart, which is just if you're down by this, do this. There's another one that shows if you're down by this with so much to play, do this, which supposedly he used. And there's another one where the timings are a little different.
Right.
Because we actually brought them on the show that Sunday morning to show, you know, maybe you ought to go back to this chart rather than the other one. Now, another rule they're making here, which is interesting, the play clock will be set to 40 seconds following a kickoff to restart play quicker. So after a kickoff, after a fair catch, just go ahead and say
And
it.
you get it on the 25.
So after a fair catch to the 25, you get 40 seconds to get out there. So quick. I don't have a problem with that one.
No, but I mean, doesn't after a lot of kickoffs there's a commercial?
That's a pro thing.
Is that a pro
That's
thing?
more
I mean,
pro thing than a
okay.
college
Gotcha.
thing. But that was my first thought, too.
Then I'd
is-
like to see that in the pros, too, because I hate that.
Well, and thinking of Bob and a lot of the people ended up sitting in the stands, this is going to help. Is that what they're trying to do too? Is speed things up? You know,
Attendance
They may
was
be
down
speeding
last
people in
things
the
up.
stands
I
that
don't
are
think they're
saying
speeding it up for the people in the stands.
but-
Those are the last people
people
to
that
get
they think
consideration.
about. But at least you'll benefit some. You would
Although,
think.
wasn't college football attendance down last year?
Yeah.
A lot of it was. A
Maybe
lot
they
of
are
places-
starting to notice.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they are starting to notice when you're not getting butts in seats.
They're staying home because they're not getting enough on the kickoffs.
Actually, we talked about it on the show, I believe. I hope I'm not
Yeah,
wrong here, but attendance, it was like the biggest dip in
Yes.
decades.
Because
It the
everybody was
second
talking
biggest
about
drop
the
ever.
NFL attendance going down, but
And
college
yes.
football took a dip too.
Yeah. And interestingly, it came out this week that, you know, everybody's talking about the ratings for football is down. It's politics and stuff. Ratings for the NBA skyrocketed, and there's no more political league out there. So good luck trying to pin down any of this stuff. I don't think there's any simple answers for football. On field goals and extra points, it's now illegal, and you've seen more of this in the NFL. I can't remember seeing much of it in college. It's now completely illegal. Again, it's a safety deal. You can't leap.
Leap over.
You can't leap over the entire frame of a guy. I can't remember seeing that in college. You saw a lot of it in the NFL, and they nuked it.
No.
Yeah, Zach Cunningham did it for Vanderbilt last year against Auburn, I
There
think.
you go.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I mean, they're taking away some fun plays, and what is the danger about the leap over?
And have you seen somebody
You
get
land on
injured
something on your
doing
head.
that?
Or you land on somebody and break
Yeah.
his neck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's entertainment. What do
At
you
some
care?
point,
They're gladiators.
well, I mean, here's the deal. Then, just quit playing the freaking game.
Well, I
I
think
mean,
that's where you look. I
it-
think
it
that's a
may be-
legit.
it
We've
may
talked
be
about
going
it.
there.
That's a legitimate.
But here's the deal, man. You know, people have free will. You can go out there and play. And
'Cause
I
that-
want to jump on an extra point. Daggone it.
You miss that athleticism. I mean, to see that kind of play,
Yep.
leaping over a lineman.
Well,
And
I
it was,
remember
it was legal as long as you didn't touch anybody.
When I was
or
a
something,
kid,
right?
man, I remember the Vikings had grubbers and leapers on field goals. You had the guys that went down and the guys that ran, jumped on their backs and
Yeah.
leapt.
Right.
The guys on the ground were the grubbers and the guys jumping were the leapers.
Well,
And all and the grubbers all died at
Yeah.
younger ages than the leapers.
they were
They used to have
grubbing.
to sign new grubbers every week.
And what was sad was they then had to build colonies for the leapers.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that. I get that.
The leaper
Can
colony.
we actually continue after that?
A lot of them in Louisiana.
Well, did they do anything about overtime? That's one of my big pet peeves in college.
That would be the thing I would change too. I hate
That
the
would be the
overtime
first thing.
system.
Right.
And are you one of these guys that likes it, like Jimmy? Jimmy Himes loves it.
No, I'm kind of split on it. It's not really. I'd like to see him finish the game the same way,
Yes.
honestly. But you know, I
But
know
now
I
that
can
you're
do it.
taking kicking out of the rest of the game too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's a good point.
on the kicking thing, just real quick, just to revisit that, I wonder if for some coaches, if they have a dangerous return man, if they'll still do it. And yes, you take away
Right,
the
like Evan
ability.
Barry.
Yeah.
Right, you still will take away pinning them deep, but the 25 is still better than taking it to the house for coaches against certain returners. So I think some coaches will still.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to get rid of it completely.
Right.
And if I had Evan Barry, or
Yeah.
put it in Tennessee terms, if I had Willie
Cordero
Gall,
Patterson.
Cordero Patterson, I'm saying do what
Yeah.
you do,
take
run it
you
anyway.
Go. I'll take my chances.
But I do think what they're doing, you're going to see fewer kicks though.
Right.
Returns this year. I bet you'll see fewer returns this
Yes.
year than you would have. That doesn't mean
Yes.
they'll all stop. But see, to me, that's the silly thing. They're half-assing it. It's like if you want to kill kickoffs, and you do, just go ahead and kill it already, rather than, okay, well, next year they'll come back and say, we'll put it at the 30-yard line. What about that? I mean, you know that's coming. So to me, I'm not a believer in half-assing anything.
I don't like the way it
And
changes
the NCAA is a
in-game
bunch
strategy.
of half-assers.
Then I'm going to try, before I do all that stuff, I'm going to try and legislate how much the players weigh that are on the field if you're so concerned about 275 pounds.
But I don't think
going
it's
down there
concussion.
and hitting a 180-pound
That may
player.
be part of it. I don't think that's part. I think it's concussions.
Well, I mean,
And that could be two 180-pound guys that crash into each other at 100 miles an hour. You can get concussions.
Yes, I know, but I think it's more likely that the problem I've heard from a lot of them saying is the size and speed of the players.
I don't
know you can change that.
Personally, I think that's why you've got more injuries in the game now.
Oh, I think so
I do
too.
too.
Because they're bigger, stronger, faster,
Faster.
running into each other. Yeah, and also, as I always point out, and there are always people who laugh, go look at the pads that Herschel Walker wore. Hell, go look at the pads Jamal Lewis wore at Tennessee.
Yes.
And then look at what they wear now. Thigh pads have gone from this to that, if they
Yes.
wear them. Shoulder pads have gone from
From basically now they're as big as your shoulder.
Yes,
Right.
it was the Captain America
Yeah.
shield up there before.
Right.
Now it's just a little
Michael Bennett size.
coaster.
Jacket, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But the thing is, I mean, the bigger issue is something we kind of touched on there, and that is you have a sport. Most of these come down to, most of them, not all, but most of them come down to injuries. Leaping over guys, what kind of blocks you make, kickoffs. You've got a sport that has been a rough and tumble sport for years. You're seeing, it seems, more injuries. And you talk to people who've covered sports for a long time, and fans will say, well, there's always been injuries. I remember this. When you talk to people, though, who've been associated with it, they'll tell you there's more injuries now than there have been. So I think your bigger, faster, stronger, smaller pads weighs into it. But fundamentally, you've got a sport that's a dangerous sport.
It's a collision sport.
So you can change. You can talk about all these rules. There is no way to make football a safe sport. It is a dangerous sport.
No,
more so than other sports.
And the size and speed of the players has just changed everything. I mean, I always go back to Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, back in the '60s, would have been a defensive end.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and now he's a wide receiver.
And you're still playing in the same
And
confined
you're still playing
space.
in the same space.
Exactly.
Tennessee legend Doug Atkins remains one of the most, the old timers. That's one of the most feared pass rushers in NFL history. He's still on all the NFL films, top 10 lists,
Right.
everything else. That's because Doug Atkins was built then like a defensive end now.
Yes.
And everybody else around him was small. Now they're all like that. And as you say, you got wide receivers who look like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Hall of Fame tackle from Minnesota, Alan Page, played the game at 230 pounds. A defensive tackle in the NFL was 230 pounds. What are you now at 230 pounds? A kind of smallish outside linebacker?
On roller
strong
skates.
safety.
Yeah.
You're a strong safety,
Or
man.
you're a strong safety,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So they can change all the rules. It's not going to matter. Chuck, Vince, Bob, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Blue Smoke Cigar, appreciate them. Appreciate you for watching. Thank you very much. And next Sunday, 11 o'clock, WATE 6 and Facebook Live, we'll be there talking about the orange and white game as the Vols wrap up spring. Join us then. See you then. Bye-bye.